Crazy fight. $2 million bet between Dana White and Snoop Dogg that is now controversial because Dana White really bet $1 million against Jake Paul. And Snoop said, okay, I'll match you on it. And I'll take Jake to win. Jake won. Now it's up in the air. But this is crazy overall because now you have a guy, YouTuber, turned professional boxer, 3-0. A lot of scrutiny about him. A lot of people hate him. A lot of people love him. He's got a big fan base, over 50 million followers on social media. So tell me, Ian, what do you think? Are you impressed with the fact that he is transitioning from a YouTuber to a boxer? Before we get into any more about it, what do you think of Jake Paul's career so far?
Man, I'm not impressed with it. And it's not a shot at Jake Paul. He's not fought any boxers. He beat up an NBA slam dunk champion, and you beat up a retired UFC guy, not a former UFC champion. Ben Askren only fought 3 UFC fights. He's an MMA fighter. He was in Bellator and a couple of other different leagues as far as MMA is concerned.
Yep.
His UFC career, he's 1-2. He got 1 submission win, got knocked out in 5 seconds. Mind you, the fastest UFC knockout in the history of the league was against Ben Askren. 5 seconds, flying knee, bam, lights out.
Who slept
Done. I don't even remember who it was. Actually, it was whoever it is. He's fighting on Saturday. It was who's Usman fighting? Yeah,
Masvidal.
That's who did it.
Oh my God!
Beat him in 5 seconds. That's who slept him, and then he turned around and got submitted in his other fight, and he retired. So it was like, okay, dude is 36 years old, retired 2 years ago. Came into the ring. He's a wrestler. That's his profession. Like that's his trade. Everyone in UFC has a specialty. His is wrestling. He's not a boxer, not a striker, wasn't a kickboxer, wasn't good at jiu-jitsu, didn't do any of that. He's a wrestler.
Yep.
So it's not surprising at all that he went out there and got knocked out. As Jake Paul is actually, he's been training to box. He's got a mean right hand, and he's big, and he generally is fighting guys who are smaller than him. So it's like he's getting the fights, he's getting his money, he's doing his thing, but no, I'm not impressed. And I'm even furthermore disgusted at the fact that Floyd Mayweather he put out a list of cities that he would like to have a fight against Jake Paul. Why? You don't get to fight Floyd. And Floyd fights at 147. This dude, Jake Paul, is fighting at 190.
God.
I mean, as good as Floyd is,
right?
I'm not sure that he could handle. Like, if Jake Paul lands one of those blows, that the weight discrepancy is like, this isn't a good look for the sport.
Right.
You don't want to see Floyd lose his zero
you about to piss
Jake
a lot
Paul.
of people off. Jake Paul's right hand on Floyd Mayweather's chin.
That could be disgusting, man.
He said it, not me. Woo. Oh,
I'm not saying I would pick Jake Paul in that fight, but what potentially could come of that? What for?
Right.
What are you doing? Don't fight him.
What would that actually do for the sport of boxing if that would to be the turnout? Oh, my God.
You already saw what Floyd did to Conor, but they actually are the same size.
Right.
Like, for those that don't know, they're little guys.
Yeah.
5'8", 147. I mean, that's what he fights at. So, I mean, I assume his natural walking around weight can't be more than 160, 165. He's still a little dude.
Exactly.
He's tiny.
I don't think he would jump to higher than maybe 160 or 165 to fight Jake if he did it. And that's a big jump for Floyd, really. If he's fought at 147, yeah, that's a huge jump for a boxer, bro. I'm definitely right there with you. So, Jake Paul, the YouTuber, turned a boxer. This guy has definitely been interesting because when you look at all the money he's made, the following that has grown through YouTube, but now he wants to transition and go into this era of boxing. And I'll tell you now, I respect him because this is a young man chasing his dreams, taking fights that actually have a lot of fluff around them. I'll break down some of them for you to actually understand where these rivalries, where these matches came from, and how it ended up actually unfolding for Jake Paul in that time. Being a YouTuber to a boxer, he is trying to chase his true dream, is what I feel like is boxing. He's taking it super serious. At least he's trying to faking it to the media, getting these fights under his belt. And more than anything, I'm not going to down on a kid because he wants to truly chase his dream and expand his career even further. Made $75 million in earnings off of this fight alone, over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Yeah, he's flexing with $1 bills, which definitely doesn't help his case, but we know Jake Paul doesn't give a damn at the end of the day. But everyone's acting out here like he's just getting handed these wins. And you look at the first fight against the YouTuber Gib, they were both amateurs at that point, both absolute amateurs at that point. Jake Paul, that was his debut fight, and you had Gib coming in as well, being off a YouTuber in his debut fight. Only went 1 round. They both looked pretty ugly. Jake Paul looking just a little bit better, but he did get the TKO. So there's his legit 1-0 for everybody that wants to take it away from him. He fought another YouTuber as well. It was both their professional boxing debut. He came out, got the 1-0. So now he's moving on to the next fight. And you've got Nate Robinson. And a lot of people don't know that Nate Robinson actually initiated this in a TMZ interview. He wasn't crazy. He wasn't barking about it, but there was enough passion to where it caught some traction. And Jake Paul said, okay, cool. And I'll even quote Nate Robinson here for you. I want all the smoke. I'm a top tier athlete. You beating me probably would be the biggest accomplishment for your boxing career, social media career, whatever it may be. That's your biggest claim to fight right now, is knocking out Nate Robinson in the ring. So come do it. I'll put everything on the line to fight you. That was Nate Robinson specifically once all this traction got going. So what does Jake Paul do? Being fresh in the game, of course he'll take the fight. Why not? He thinks he could whoop his ass, and he worked Nate Robinson again. Not another beautiful fight. We could tell Nate Robinson was really tight in there, but once Jake got in, hit him with the hands, and it was over with. Now we have memes all over, and Nate Robinson shouldn't have taken the fight. He didn't need to, but at the end of the day, Jake Paul stepped in, chasing his dreams, and took the fight. So now he's 2-0. Still got my respect. All boxers talk smack. All boxers love to talk. Now this third fight is where it really got skewed, and you got to dig into some interviews. You got to dig into some tweets, see what's actually leading up to this fight happening. So he goes and gets Ben Askren. But as he's fishing for Ben Askren, do people tell you that he also called out Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, Dylan Dennis, who seems to be on the slate for him now, and also Jorge Masvidal, who is going to be fighting this Saturday, along with Ben Askren at the end, retired champion, 1-2 in UFC, 19-2.
Not a UFC. Well, okay, he did get a belt, but
right. All these numbers, we got to pull him in. 19-2 as a professional fighter, more of a wrestler than anything, but it's Ben Askren's comments that really it's just a win for Jake Paul at this point. Comes in and saying, oh, boxing, that seems kind of easy. I'm sure I could do that. Seems kind of safe to me. Then he loses, comes out in an interview just a couple days ago after getting embarrassed on national television. Yeah, he made his money. And he even went as far as admitting, I made more in that one fight than I did in my 9 Bellator MMA fights. He made a little over $300,000, about $350,000 in those MMA fights. That one purse for losing against Jake Paul, $500,000, easy, right down there in Atlanta. Comes out after the loss and says, this fight doesn't mean anything to me, but it was cool how it captured the public's attention. So that there, it's like, why does it matter to you at all if the public captures it? If you truly don't care, it just goes back to these boxers talking it forward, bringing it back once they get their ass beat in the ring. We've seen it time and time again. Then he goes to say, okay, maybe he's good. Maybe he does hit that hard. I just don't think I defended the overhand right well. Maybe he is a good boxer. Let's see him fight somebody, and then maybe I'll believe in him. All these maybes, all these pulling back from it after you're saying, oh, that seems safe, I'll go box the kid. He happily came out of retirement via social media to take this fight against Jake Paul. And then at the very end of the whole thing, which this is what just made me say, okay, Ben Askren, honestly, he's looking like a lame ass at this point. Going out and saying, why were people so interested in two guys who weren't very good at boxing? It's mind-blowing to me, but you just said in the same interview moments before that it was fascinating. I think this just shows that Ben Askren absolutely is cowering down from the moment. I get it, you're 1-2 in the UFC, but you happily brought your ass out of retirement to get in the ring and got your ass worked by a YouTuber per se, who is now 3-0 in his professional boxing career. I'm not claiming anything for Jake Paul to be an all-time great, to be the next transitional boxer, if he's even helping the game of boxing. Give the kid his respect, though. He's chasing his dreams. And let's also look at the grand landscape of boxing. When we talk about some of the household names like Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Evander Holyfield, who the hell did they fight in their first 3? Nobody. Go look at who they fought. Most of them have losing records in their first 3 rounds, in their first 3 matches as a professional boxer. I know he's going to have maybe Dylan Dennis on the slate and Conor McGregor, and he could get slept at that time, but he's still 3-0 as a boxer. He took every fight. He talked smack in every fight, and he won every fight. He's increasing his net worth at the end of the day, chasing his dreams. Kid's got my respect is all I got to say, man. I've got respect for Jake Paul.
The difference in those guys and his start, we did not see their early fights.
Right.
We just heard about them.
Exactly.
They weren't pay-per-view events.
Now we're seeing.
Nobody watched it. Mm-hmm. There was no hype or fanfare until they actually came. I mean, I remember watching Roy Jones on Tuesday night fights. Roy Jones, and we was like, yo, like this dude right here is the truth. Like, man, wait till he gets his shot.
Right. And he's fighting on Tuesdays.
Yeah, like that was on the way back. I think that was on like USA.
Yeah.
It used to come on like back in the 90s. I used to watch him boxing before he even like really got a name.
Yep.
But it's like, man, outside all of that, like who would you want to see him fight next?
So, like I said, Dylan Dennis has been on the slate, and I'll paraphrase. We're going to be friendly out here, but he's saying on Instagram, go ahead, get the contract out, sign it. I'll put this guy to sleep. In the nicest terms, that's what Dylan Dennis is out there saying. Dylan Dennis is a bad dude. I really think Jake Paul could be running into some trouble if he gets in the ring with Dylan Dennis. Tyron Woodley was in Ben Askren's corner. We know the dog that Tyron Woodley is. This man can wrestle, but he can also box with the best of them. This guy is an absolute athlete, definitely an all-time fighter in my opinion when you're talking about Tyron Woodley. You've also got Uriah Hill coming out and saying, I'd beat your ass with one hand. You don't even deserve my right. People are going that far to saying that Jake Paul is literally nothing, and I don't think he's nothing at this point. The kid's making a name. I'm not going to be out here and act like he's fought this, and that. But people are acting like he's calling these nobodies out when he's giving you a list. Then the media just wants to sit on top of him and say, nah, he just wanted to fight this scrub. The kid's 3-0. He's got some more fights coming. I mean, you got an ex-NBA player and a boxer now, I think Kendall Hill coming out saying, get you some real competition. So Jake Paul's definitely spicing people up, and at the end of the day, he's doing nothing but setting the future up for his career that much better because he's winning his fights, he's getting in the spotlight, and his name is now in other people's mouths. We almost had the Logan Paul and Mayweather. You don't think Jake would have tried to have some influence in that? The dude is a social media influencer. He can influence anybody. The guy's a master at psychology. Look at how he ran social media. He is definitely going to have not a bright future, but he's setting it up well for himself is all I'll say. I don't think he's going to go down as an all-time great, got to be a transitional fighter, anything like that. But the kid does have my respect at the end of the day.
But I think if he really wants to get his name out there the way he's trying to and actually get boxing respect, he needs to fight an actual boxer.
Absolutely.
And someone in his weight class.
Absolutely.
He keeps fighting little dudes. He fights people who don't box, who aren't fighters. It's like, man, go get a retired light heavyweight champion that doesn't fight anymore. Step inside the ring with Roy Jones, Antonio Tarver, Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah.
If you get in the ring with one of them and hold your own, he doesn't even have to win that fight.
Right.
He would get so much more respect just from the boxing community if he fought one of them and it's like, oh, he's actually got some real live boxing skills. I mean, anyone who's trained to box, who fights non-boxers, can get in there and look good because they're not boxers.
Right.
I mean, he's put a lot of time into the craft.
He has.
It's not to say that he's a top-class boxer, but he's been boxing.
Exactly.
And the people that he's fighting have not.
Exactly.
It's like, get in there against an actual boxer, hold your own. If you so happen to actually beat a reputable boxer in your weight class, then we can give you that shine. Even against Nate Diaz, it's like, man, he's a really good MMA fighter.
I think Nate Diaz would whoop his ass.
Nate Diaz is little.
But Nate Diaz is nasty. Look what he did to Conor in the decision match.
He's little.
But he's nasty, bro. Those hooks, those uppercuts.
He's still tiny, man.
You think Paul would work him?
He's too little. If Paul catches him, that 190 dropping on a 150 dude,
Yeah.
he fought Conor. Conor is no bigger than Floyd Mayweather, which means Nate Diaz, I don't know how much he weighs, but I promise you he's not more than 155.
He looks like Slenderman in the octagon. He's very
He's
lanky.
not more than 155.
Right.
If he catches one of them paws, he get dropped too.
Yeah.
He's too little.
Right.
It's way out of his weight class, so I don't want to see him fight Nate Diaz either.
Right.
I want to see him fight someone his size that's an actual boxer.
I want the Dylan Dennis fight. I'm here to tell y'all now, Dylan Dennis is on Instagram. Instagram ready. Bring the check. Bring the pen. Let's sign it now. I want to get in the ring with this kid. I'm down for it. I will say, though, his 3 wins are validated. His 3 wins are absolutely validated in his career. Might not be great, but they're at least validated. They're real wins because of how they played out. Now let's see if he gets him a real piece. I think it's got to be Dylan Dennis next. I want to see Dylan Dennis in the ring. No question with him.
Absolutely. So, man, we're going to keep this thing live and direct with MMA, staying with the UFC. We've got Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. Uh-oh, it sounds like we got a phone call.
Uh-oh.
Somebody calling the petty line?
Yes, sir. Let's go. Y'all better not be faking me out now.
I hear the bed squeaking. That means somebody on the petty line.
Oh, I'm sorry. We still in Who we got?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for calling Petty Sports. You on the petty line. Caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Man, what's up? This is Banks.
Uh-oh.
D-Beezy, what's poppin', man?
Uh-oh.
Man, listen. Man, y'all talking about this Jake Paul cat, and your man talking about he may get some respect from him because he's doing his living out his dream. You can't compare him to any other pure boxer that's out there. They came up through the Golden Gloves and all that, and they cut their teeth in this thing. He better stay a cash cow and make his money while he can. He step into a ring with a real boxer, a real fighter, he's going to get his ass touched. He gets in the ring with somebody with his own weight class, he's going to get touched. Y'all believe his YouTube shit if y'all want to. It ain't real.
Okay, who's he fighting next?
Say again?
Who is he fighting next? Who would you like to see Jake Paul in the ring with next?
Well, I don't know. Anybody that steps up, any real fighter that steps up, I think he should fight instead of these cash cow things. If we fuck with...
He did to Conor. Literally just dissected Conor the whole match.
Listen, this guy here he's a YouTube sensation. He's good for pay-per-view and things of that nature. He's good for his own pocket. But let's not be confused with the fact that sweet science is what it is. He's not any of that.
Oh, I mean, he's absolutely not. I mean, that's what I was saying. I want to see him actually fight a reputable boxer, someone who actually fought in light heavyweight, who is his size and actually boxes.
Yeah.
I don't stop fighting little dudes that don't box.
Right, and we can even say his next fight, if it is against a Dylan Dennis or whoever it may be, that would be the start of his professional career. I'll say the 3 fights he's been in, they're validated. I'll go as far as to say, though, not yet he's a professional because, I mean, look, what fighter has truly been in the ring with him? He's just stepped up to get some sort of clout around his name, which, honestly, you have to with this day and age.
Oh, my man Nate Davis, Wes Davis say Nate Diaz fought at 180.
Whew. Wow.
The minute he gets his ass knocked out, he's done.
Yeah,
The minute he gets his ass knocked out, he's done.
He'll have at least one more after he gets dropped.
Yeah.
So we'll still want to see it one more time, see if that was a fluke or if he can bounce back.
Right. Yeah, because you see, like, Conor McGregor, coming out of retirement, he even said being inactive in this business doesn't help you. So not that Paul will be inactive, but it'll definitely be a mentality check. It'll be okay, are you truly here for it, or was it just a 3, 4, 5 fight run? So,
but you're taking a guy who was a former champion that cut his teeth in this thing that came from the ground up, not a YouTube sensation.
Oh, absolutely.
This does not happen overnight. The problem we have right now in this microwave society is people think they can jump into any goddamn sport and do it. Look at Tebow thinking he can be an MLB player. It doesn't happen. It's so ticking for the Mets. This spell ticking. He stepped into a ring with a guy that came up with Golden Gloves and doing this shit all their life. They're going to knock his ass out.
Yeah. Respect it, bro. Love to take, man.
I'm going to sign out, fellas.
Appreciate you calling in.
For sure,
Yes,
for sure.
sir.
So, man, Dwight Banks, appreciate you for calling in.
Yes, sir.
Hey, everybody weighing in on Jake Paul. He's a hot topic these days, even though he's not even a real fighter. Everybody want to talk about it.
The way I look at it is like, look at you and I, Fees, in the studio right now. We're still small. We got a great following. We're growing every day. We're chasing our dreams because this is what we want to do. How many people have we seen, these TikTok stars, they'll be showing their ass on social media just to strike a deal, or they'll be playing video games just to strike a Nike deal? Like, I think this was a thing where, because you got to think, it probably takes a lot of money, even if it was terrible by Triller Fight Club. Awful promotion. Still got the pay-per-view buys. Yep. Even, it actually came in at number 10 overall for pay-per-view buys?
What's that?
Paul and Askren. Number 10 all time.
All time?
All time in pay-per-view buys. Number 10. Yeah, that was spoke levels to me, because that's up there with some Floyd fights. That's up there with, that's up there, because I think Tyson and Holyfield 1 and 2 is at like 6 and 7.
That's why Floyd's talking about fighting him. It's money.
Exactly. Floyd will get how much you think Floyd will make if he fights Jake Paul?
Oh, I mean, he'll probably get $100 million off of a non-boxing fight.
Shoot, I was thinking like maybe 250.
I don't know.
I mean, he get at least
Floyd just walks in and names his price.
Well, I mean, he'll take all the money. So Jake Paul ain't getting no money out of it.
Right.
He's gonna be like, yo, this is gonna be a 90-10 purse. He's like, your name is not the headline.
I'm beating your ass.
You're not getting any of the money.
I'm beating your ass and I'm robbing you.
He's like, we'll put on a show. It's gonna go for $400 million. I'm gonna take 350 of them, and you still won.
Right. Oh God, dude.
Like, you ain't never got $50 million for stepping in the ring with me.